Bruh.
Chat, money. Are you riding? Say you never ever leave from beside me. Cause I want you, and I need you. And I'm down for you always.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be showing you guys how I fill in my brows, and I don't have a natural brow tutorial and I don't have a bold brow tutorial. It's these brows all day, every day when I do fill them in, and I will say they are more on the bold side, but that's how I like my brows to be. So if y'all want to find out how I do them, then keep on watching. Alright, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I already filmed doing this brow, but turns out the way I filmed it, like, it was just not a good angle and you couldn't really see exactly what I was doing. So I really just took off this brow and I'm gonna do it again. So here we go. To start, I'm going to be going in with my Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in Chocolate. I'm also going to be using my Inglot liner brush in 31T. When I dip my brush into my pomade, I just kind of stab my brush into the product to get some on there, and I get more product as I go along. I don't know if I should zoom in. That wasn't really ideal last time I filmed. Alright, so now I got the product on my brush, and I always start by lining the bottom of my brow first. And I don't start in the very front, but kind of like right here. So not the front, but the front. Because this way I won't get a super harsh line in the front of my brow, because I don't like when it's super dark there. So we're gonna start with that, and this time I'm gonna look kind of upwards so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, I start about right here and I'll draw the line outwards towards the arch, and then as I go further back I'll start to press down harder. I definitely like the end of my brow to be way darker than the front part of my brow, and I do extend the end of my brow a little bit further out than it naturally is. And the end of your brow is supposed to line up with the edge of your nose and the edge of your eye, so that's about right. And then now with products that I still have left on the brush, I'll go in upwards motions with my brush turned towards me. So it's going like that. So not vertically, but horizontally. And I'll just brush up to blend out the product and get some color going in the middle of my brows before I do the top part. And I can also blend out the front a little bit too. Now I'm going to dip into my pomade again, and I'm going to define the top of my brow. Okay, I did not get that much product. Pause. So when I do the top of my brow, I kind of do like the highest point of where my brow hairs naturally are. I'll drag it out to my arch, and then I go downwards too to blend out from the top to the bottom. I really want to get the arch and the end of my brow darker, so I do press more firmly when I get to this part, and then I blend out again. So a lot of me doing my brows is starting off with a defined line and then blending out and smoothing out the color as I go, and then going on to more defining lines and then blending out. And I'm just connecting the top of my arch with the end of my brow, meeting with the bottom line that we created in the beginning. And that's pretty much it for that part. And then towards the front, I will use the leftover product on my brush, and I lightly, very lightly, go in to draw the line at the bottom of my brow. I hold my brush at the back end so that I don't press as hard, and then I drag upwards, holding the brush again horizontally, and I lightly draw the top of my brow as well, and then I blend upwards to connect the two. And that is pretty much it for the filling in part. Now I go into the concealing of my brows. I always use my NYX HD concealer and the number 6.3, and it's called Fresh Beige, and I go in straight on with the wand that it comes in, but I swipe off the excess product so I'm not putting hella concealer onto my brow. But I start at the bottom, of course, in the front, and I just drag the product out towards the end, and I leave a little bit, like I leave a very slight gap of space between the concealer and my brow itself so that there's room for me to blend it out. But towards the end of my brow, I can get a little bit closer than I would in the front of my brow with the concealer, because I like the end to be super sharp. And then same goes for the top of my brow. I just go along the line that I made and then drag it down. Now that I have my concealer on, I just go in with my Morphe M224 brush. It's just a regular concealer brush, and I blend out the product, and I start to drag out the bottom line first, and I drag it out to my nose, and then I blend that out, and then I brush outwards towards the edge of my face for the rest of the concealer. Same thing for the top. I go in outward strokes and get super close to my brow when I get to the end so that I have a super pointed look. If it's a little bit too boxy for me, I'll go in with a brush with no extra product, and I'll just go upwards and blend out the front of my brow, and sometimes downwards too, to just blend that out so it's not super boxy. And then I'm pretty satisfied with how I did the edge of my brow. It's pretty sharp for my liking, but sometimes if I don't like the way it is, or if I feel like it's too dull or not dark enough, after I conceal, I'll take the same brush that I use for my brows and I'll just dip in a little bit of pomade again, and I use more the angled tip part, and I just lightly go in to create a darker and sharper edge. And if I'm just leaving my brows as is with no extra face makeup or anything like that, I'll go ahead and use my finger to just blend out the concealer so that it doesn't look like I have any harsh white patches around my brows. To finish off, I go in with some setting gel. This is the NYX Control Freak Eyebrow Gel, and I swipe upwards with the spoolie brush applicator, and then I'll start to move upwards and outwards, and then outwards and downwards. That way my brows will stay intact and they won't budge. And that's pretty much it for my brow tutorial. If y'all wanted to know how I take care of my brows, I'll usually get them done. I'll get them threaded every like few months. I don't get them threaded that often just because I'm lazy. But in between getting my brows done, when I have hair starting to grow out on both the top and bottom, or even in between, I'll just pluck them with regular tweezers, and from there sometimes I'll also brush my hairs upwards, and then I'll trim them with like a little eyebrow scissor like these, And then these are the tweezers that I will use as well. But other than that, that's all the grooming I really do for them. Oh, and also at nighttime, just to keep my eyebrow hairs pretty strong, I usually apply some Vaseline onto my brows before I go to sleep. And on top of that, I'll also put some vitamin E oil on top of it as well, because both of those, I've heard things that the properties in them help your eyebrow hair to be stronger, maybe even thicker. I don't know, but I do it, and my eyebrows aren't that bad, so yeah, that's what I do. And there you have it. That is pretty much it for my brow routine. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and if you didn't, be sure to give it a thumbs up anyways, and also subscribe to my channel for more videos in the future, and I'll see y'all later. Bye!